If you've been in e-commerce operations for any length of time, you've had that all too familiar feeling. Maybe it even wakes you up at night that says, you know what, I just know we are losing profits somewhere in the organization. I'm not quite sure why, I'm not quite sure where, but I know we are. Well, that's what we're here to solve. And I'd like to argue that the humble sales order and its attributes can actually give you all of the direction and insights that you need to know where you can find that lost net income in your organization. Before we get into that though, let's take a little bit of a trip back in time and let's understand some really important concepts. So back in the 90s, there were a group of analysts that talked about this concept known as the perfect order. Now, the perfect order was a great idea because it really focused on the customer's experience, which is going to increase repeat business and, of course, then increase profits. All really good things. But there were a couple of problems with the perfect order. The first is it's based on 4 attributes. So did the order get there on time? Was it the right items in the box? Were they undamaged? And did it have the right documentation? Those are all good things to track and they all help with repeat business. However, they're borderline impossible to track. So the customer is really the only one who can tell you, especially the scenarios of what happened inside the box. So, did it get there on time? We can tell that programmatically. Was it the right items in the box? Were they undamaged? Have the right documentation? Only the customer can tell you that. Which is why if you go out and you look on Google for systems that can offer the perfect order or the perfect order index, they're pretty much impossible to find. So it has that problem. Now, the other problem with the perfect order is that it could be perfect for the customer, but it could be absolutely horrible for the seller. Let's take a look at an example. Let's say you've got a customer who's ordered something on a sales channel. It could be Amazon, it could be your website, doesn't really matter. They order from Florida, and you've got a warehouse in Atlanta and maybe one in California. Well, what if you're out of inventory for that particular SKU in Atlanta, and you've got to get it there in 2 days or less from California? Well, what that essentially means is you're probably going to escalate the service level on the carrier and you're going to ship it via second-day air. Now, it could get there on time, undamaged, right items in the box, right documentation. It could be perfect from the customer's perspective, but you as a seller, you may have lost your shorts from a profit perspective. So that definitely is not a good scenario. So we've come up with this concept that we call the ideal order. And we believe it addresses not only what makes it the best case scenario for the customer, but also the best case scenario for the seller. And we do that by modeling a best case scenario across 9 different attributes for each and every order, because every order is a little bit unique based upon the ship to and the product and so forth. So we look at these 9 different attributes. In other words, did this order ship from the best location? Did it use the right carrier, the right service level, the right packaging? Was it 1 box or 2? Should it have been a slightly larger box, smaller box? Could they have been banded together? Those types of things. Did it meet the service level agreement of the sales channel that sold it in the first place? Was it fulfilled complete? Was it shipped on time? Was it delivered on time? And most importantly, did it meet your profit requirements? Now, if all of those things are true, that is an ideal order, which means then that we can track the ideal order ratio, and that can be a single KPI that your entire team can look at and understand, are we improving, are we not? Furthermore, all of those different attributes are KPIs in and of themselves, and you can learn so much from those. So first of all, how should I be balancing my inventory? Based upon where products should have shipped from, not just where they did ship from. Because sometimes you ship from locations to compensate for the fact that the ideal location didn't have the inventory that it needed. You can look at carriers and service levels and do carrier audits and understand, are they meeting their obligations? Is my 3PL meeting the obligations and the requirements that I've got for them? How is my own team performing as it relates to shipping on time and so forth? These are all different areas that you can look at in your business to understand where you're leaking income. Now, when we go back to the analysis of the ideal order versus what actually happened, one thing I didn't mention yet is that we're looking at the fulfillment costs for each of those scenarios. So we can compare what it costs you in an ideal scenario versus what it costs you in reality. And we can understand where exactly did each and every order sort of fall apart from a profitability perspective. So again, We believe that the order can tell us a tremendous amount about what's going wrong and what's going right within the organization, which gives you the insight and actually the ability to understand the value of fixing these individual problems that you experience. So if this is intriguing to you, if you'd like to learn more, if you'd like to dig in and understand, could this help you or not, we would absolutely love to talk to you. I would encourage you to either reach out and schedule a time to talk, or if you just want to learn more, by all means, download our free ebook on the 5 critical concepts to attacking lost net income and dig into this a little bit more. I believe that you'll find that to be very valuable. Thanks for your time today. We look forward to hearing from you.